What's going on, guys? So if you're new here to the channel, you're enjoying the content that we're putting out, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe and share, and enable notifications. That way you never miss out on the awesome lore discussions that we're having, like the ones that we're having right here covering the events of Sasuke Jinraiden. So if the YouTube algorithm brought you here to the channel by mistake and you have no idea what Sasuke Jinraiden is, I got you, fam. So go over to the Naruto Explained homepage, scroll down to the Naruto novel section, and click on the playlist titled Sasuke Jinraiden, and you can get caught up and join in with future discussions. So from this point onward, I'm assuming you guys are all caught up with Sasuke Jinraiden. So getting right into it, man, I gotta say, this scene right here, the fact that it's taking place right after we have this very intense back and forth between Sasuke and Reishi, where Sasuke at the end of the back and forth, when Reishi talks about why he believes that the ninja system is going to end, Sasuke just goes off. And he's just talking about the fact that, like, look, you're talking a lot of nonsense right now. You're no different than the rest of these villagers. Your father using something like Rowan that can absorb chakra from people. You guys are way out of pocket. Sasuke just goes off at this point because Sasuke's looking at the situation. He's like, look, man, I learned everything I need to learn about Itachi from coming here. I'm leaving this damn village. Sasuke has been triggered by Reishi's words. Sasuke has gone from being in that very fragile state of mind to where Sasuke could have been won over by Konoha to now he's just thinking about blowing up the whole damn village. And the thought crossed his mind that the people in this village as well deserved everything that came to them. And you see a little bit of projecting because he looks over at Reishi and he says, the actions of your father and the actions of everything that happened in that skirmish with those ninja that came from the Hidden Rain village, your younger brother could have been killed. Your father didn't think about something like that. And that kind of goes back to Fugaku not necessarily thinking about how a lot of this stuff will impact Sasuke if Fugaku carried out that coup attempt on the Hidden Leaf Village. So I did like seeing those little small things kind of tied in right there and how Sasuke was associated in a lot of this stuff. But what we end up seeing in this scene here is that as Sasuke leaves from the shrine the next morning, he runs into Kina. He's telling Kina, I'm done. I'm leaving here. Get the hell out of my way. Make sure you go live your best life. Just don't go get your face smashed in anymore, because if you do, I'm not going to be there that's going to be able to save you. Kina's telling him, like, hey, those ninja that you attacked and saved me from, they're dead. Their chakra's been ripped out. We need to investigate this. This would be the way that I can prove that it's not my clan that unleashed Rowan, and it's not my clan that's behind all this stuff. And so Sasuke humors him and he walks with them, because walking past that crime scene is on Sasuke's way to leaving the village. And that's when they come face to face with Jiru Sendu, who is the leader of that Sendu clan. And all hell breaks loose at this point because Sasuke is already in a very nasty temper. Sasuke's at the point where if somebody gets in his way, they might catch a Chidori to the face. That's what type of mood Sasuke's in right now. Sasuke is on complete demon time right now. And what I like about this scene is that when Sasuke gets there, the first words that he has is, get the fuck out of my way before you catch these hands. And if I gotta give somebody hands, I'm gonna have a lot of graves that need to be dug, but it's a good thing we're in a graveyard right now. And what we're seeing here is that Sasuke, not only is he taking his anger out, but he's also looking at Jiru Sendu almost like a replacement for the Hidden Leaf Village, because just in the same way that Kina's clan was being scapegoated in the eyes of Kina, so too is the Uchiha clan scapegoated by the Hidden Leaf Village. So Sasuke's getting the opportunity to kind of take out a lot of his anger and hostility at this point. So now with the scene and the context being set, I'm going to take you guys into the battle royale that's getting ready to take place, or rather the massacre that's getting ready to take place, because Sasuke's pissed off and Sasuke's ready to start handing out hands. So with the scene and the context being set is here, I'm going to begin reading the scene from the novel and come back to you guys with my thoughts. And it's here, I quote, I recognized the man that was whispering something in Jiru Sendu's ear, the drug dealer with the scar on his cheek who had sold me the fake Kataru. Kina and I walked forward until we came face to face with those men. The wind made the grass, the tree leaves, and the hem of their kimono sway. A total silence reigned over the graveyard. Those criminals limited themselves to staring at us, as to make us understand that there was no way out. No one breathed a word. At that point, I was the one who chose to break the ice. Get lost. I said, The gang members then got angry, but Jiru managed to keep them under control. That's not the kind of way to greet someone. So are you supposed to be the bodyguard that turned up at Kodan's all of a sudden? He said. Just as I thought, then you're the ones who had set fire to our house, shouted Kina in anger. Hey kid, you're falsely accusing me. Do you got any proof? You're blustering around, but under that hawk mask you're already beginning to whimper, Jiru said. A small laugh surfaced on Jiru's face, who shrugged, making his underlings burst out laughing. I could smell the disgusting stink of rotten fish at night, the same stink that you're reeking of now, Kina answered back without being outdone. Jiru Sendu's face contorted in a fearsome expression. What? Say that again. You stupid snotty-nosed kid, he shouted, frantic. I'll say it as many times as you like. You and your underlings stink in an awful way. You're a bunch of idiots, Kina said. In response to those unacceptable insults, one of the underlings was about to dash towards Kina. Damn brat, looks like you're too full of yourself, the man shouted. I blocked the man's legs and he stumbled and he fell on his face over a tombstone. It was the starting sign. The men dashed toward us, threatening us in every way. Aren't you being too cocky? I'll kill you. I'll give them a good lesson, they all shouted. Kina and I tried to avoid the kunai and the shuriken that were thrown at us from every direction. When we were playing detective, I had already had the opportunity to observe Kina's agility. Unless he hurled himself straight towards his opponent, they had no chance to get to him. The kid was agile, and even if they managed to hit him, he would only get a few scratches and surely it would serve as a good medicine for his recklessness. However, I decided to swiftly defeat all of the opponents, conscious of the fact that if that boy were to get seriously hurt, I would have really bad dreams. I inhaled deeply. Fire style, great dragon fire flame jutsu. I blew fire out at the enemies. In a second, 3 men that were running out in front of us became human torches. A scream of pain echoed from the graveyard. The leftovers scattered everywhere, panicking. They began clashing against each other. Jiru Sendu was screaming at the hymn. What the hell are you doing? Do you want to be overcome by that brat? Come on, that fire. Anyway, he suddenly held his breath and the end of the sentence with it. What? Hey, don't be hasty. Let's just talk for a moment, Jiru said. I had moved behind his back and was holding a kunai against his neck. I'll only say it to you once again. Get lost, Sasuke said. Who the hell are you? Jiru asked. Sasuke Uchiha. Apparently my name isn't new to you, I said. Jiru's followers, who were struggling to keep up with them, pulled out some small cylinders and brought them to their mouths. The smallest cylinders. Be careful. If a rock hits you, you're dead, shouted Kina. A gentle pressure with my kunai was enough to draw a trickle of blood from Jiru Sendu's neck. Whoa, immediately. Hey, put that thing down. Are you trying to kill me? He shouted, bouncing in shock. Then tell them to throw away their weapons, I said. Are you deaf? Throw your weapons away immediately, you good-for-nothings. His underlings immediately obeyed. It looks like my older brother Itachi has been way too tolerant towards you, I said. Jiru nodded vigorously, sweating profusely. Sure, Itachi did so much for us, he began. The others kept observing the scene from afar, speechless. I'm not as good as my brother, treating people with respect. Listen carefully. Don't try to come near the Hypericum Shrine again. Otherwise, it'll be me that'll be dealing with you, I said, kicking his rear. The men fled like whipped dogs, but Kina kept throwing rocks at them. Get into your thick skulls! Don't ever come back! I thought it probably wouldn't end there. After all, even scoundrels had their pride, but what could I do? I wanted to leave the village that same day. The only way I could be useful is by playing detectives with Kina a little while longer. End quote. So first and foremost, we obviously got to talk about the fact that Sasuke, on top of using that fire style jutsu and burning some of these shinobi alive, also took that opportunity to put the kunai to the back of this man's throat and tell him, I'm not as tolerant as Itachi. Itachi was too soft with you. Keep testing me, and I'm going to put bodies in this graveyard. I love that. That's a badass scene. That is a really badass scene. However, the other thing about this too is we also get to see a really interesting scene where that Sasuke's walking around the graveyard and he's looking at the bodies, and Sasuke sees quite a few things. Sasuke sees all the blood just trickling around, and as Sasuke's looking at the bloodstains, Sasuke's eyes begin to start throbbing because he's thinking about Itachi, and just thinking about Itachi is causing Sasuke's eyes, the Mangekyo pattern begins to slowly start forming, and it's causing him a lot of pain when this happens. And Sasuke has a moment where he starts thinking about the pain of the activation of the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes, about how it's linked to the death of a loved one. He's talking about how he hated Itachi with all of his heart, and yet at the same time, even now, he can't find it in his heart to hate Itachi. For Itachi siding against the Uchiha clan, it's only love, and it's only happiness at the fact that Itachi doesn't have to suffer anymore because of this ninja world, because of the position that they put him in, that Itachi doesn't have to suffer anymore, that Sasuke, his Mangekyo Sharingan is forming in his eyes, but it's not complete. A good way to kind of think about this scene is to think about how in Dragon Ball, where you have Goku when he first starts transforming into a Super Saiyan, his hair begins flickering back and forth between black and gold. It's the same thing happening with Sasuke with that Mangekyo Sharingan. The edges are beginning to form, and Sasuke is trying to mentally suppress that Mangekyo from popping all the way out, because as we know, Sasuke's Mangekyo doesn't activate in its fullest until he's standing on the cliffside, and this scene here takes place before Sasuke goes to stand on that cliff. So I did like seeing that right there. That is really good, and I like how one of the things that Sasuke is thinking about is the fact that he thinks he might have made a mistake by killing Itachi, and I love that level of regret that we're seeing there. So my question to you guys is, how did you guys feel about Sasuke giving into some of his darker tendencies here, and how did you feel about the sight of all the blood around him making him think about Itachi, and Sasuke getting a visible physical reaction to it? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.